am Alethea Felton, and welcome to the Power Transformation Podcast. If you're struggling in your life with self-sabotaging and negative thoughts that leave you feeling stuck and limit you from moving forward, I can help you. As a holistic health and empowerment coach, I help people identify, challenge, and conquer those thoughts in order to make simple and practical changes to improve overall wellness. Let's remove those limitations, for the time is now to create your power transformation. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Power Transformation Podcast. Thank you for joining me today. And y'all, this episode is going to be different today. I'm not doing an affirmation. I simply want to have a conversation. I want to talk to you today. And this is going to be from my heart. And it's not going to be as long as the other episodes, but I just want to share some things because I'm coming up on nearly the year anniversary of this podcast launch. And I am just so amazed at how much of the support I've gotten from you all, how I'm going to be getting future guests and future subscribers and listeners to this podcast. And the fact, y'all, that it's coming up on a year, December 7th will mark a year that this podcast has been consistently released every week since its launch. I have more guests coming down the road. I have more topics to discuss and talk about. I have guests as well as solo episodes. But I want you to hear me, Alethea, Coach Alethea, whatever you call me or know me by. And perhaps what I say today could also encourage you to be a bit more inspired. But this year of 2023 is coming to a close. It's winding down. And when I tell you that I am in such awe and amazement of how life is, that's truly putting it lightly. And what I want to make clear is that when I say that I'm in such awe and amazement and how wonderful my life is, I don't want you to confuse it to think that wonderful means that I haven't had or still have my share of challenges. I do, because I'm a human being. And part of the journey of life is that you go through challenges, you go through obstacles. But that's the key thing, y'all. It's through. You go through. You don't get stuck. You don't stay there. You go through them. And no matter how many challenges I go through, the through is the most powerful because there's always another side. I'm not going through anything currently that's life-shattering or life-altering. No, I am experiencing a lot more of resilience building, faith building, creativity and imagination stretching. I'm learning more about who I am at this point in my life. As I shared some months ago that I pivoted from my career as an educator of 20 years into this new shifting with wellness and coaching and training and, all of this. And traveling and just so much more. A lot of newness has come into my life in the last several months, from a new relationship to with an absolutely wonderful man, to relocating, leaving the Washington, D.C. area that I had been in for 17 years, getting even more closer with my parents and my family. I was always close with my parents, but having this new life, in a sense, has gotten me even closer with them, or even traveling to places that I just wouldn't have imagined that I'd be going. I told you I went on a cruise in September, but y'all, I also came back from South Africa. I went to South Africa earlier in November, and that was a totally transformational trip. And I'm already thinking about the trips that I want to take in 2024. And then launching my business, coaching business, and just making a lot of different adjustments in those areas, as well as continuing to keep my eyes on the greater prize. And there are certain things going on, certain goals that I'm working on that I haven't even announced yet because they're not ready. They haven't come into fruition yet. And when they do, that's when I'll speak more about it. Why do I share this? I'm careful to not overshare. I don't think everything is for everybody, but I share certain aspects of my life because life has high tides and low tides. It has ebbs and flows. And there has been a time in my life where it didn't seem as if anything was going well. And I could have chosen to just wallow in my misery and my suffering, or I could have kept a glimmer of hope despite those obstacles and those challenges. And I chose to keep hope. I'm living currently in a time frame of things that I've prayed for coming to pass and happening. I am experiencing a world of changes and transitions and shifts. And while it's a new chapter of my life, I still feel a responsibility to you as my listeners, to my audience, to my subscribers, to people that I will coach and more, or just where I speak. It doesn't matter. I still have a responsibility to you to let you know that you too can pivot. You too can get to whatever is next in your life, despite the obstacles that seem to be hindering you or blocking you. I have a responsibility to you to get you to think beyond any negative or limiting thoughts that could be hindering you from moving forward. I have a responsibility to share my story about how although I might be diagnosed with certain health conditions, continue to beat and defy odds with the grace of God, as well as me doing what my doctors say to do, and also managing my stress, my eating habits, my exercise, whatever, and having a loving support system. There's so many podcasts out there. They're a dime a dozen. And I don't get into the comparison trap of whose podcast might be getting more subscribers than mine. The trick for me, or the key, is that I'm just going to be consistent, because whoever needs this message that the Power Transformation podcast brings will get it regardless. And that's why today I just wanted to have a conversation with you. I wanted to talk to you just to give you a little bit of hope, to say that your life is not over. As long as you're listening to my voice, your life isn't over. There is still so much that you can do with the life that you have. And it doesn't even have to be on a global scale. You don't have to be famous. I don't seek fame. But what I do seek is, I seek a way to help you. I seek a way to be a light in this world. I seek a way to give people inspiration and hope, and to let them know that there's so much within yourself that you can offer to the world. I've been getting more interviews for podcasts, and in those interviews, I'm sharing more of my story, a lot that a lot of people, frankly, don't know. but I'm getting more comfortable sharing because it's with the hope that perhaps that someone listening to what I have to say, then they too may be encouraged to change something in their life for the better. They may be able to help somebody else. It's almost like that teach one, reach one kind of, meaning that there's something that you have innately within yourself. It could be a loving word, it could be a skill, it could even be your presence that you could give to someone else that could give that person a bit more oomph or stamina to just keep going. How are you using your gifts? How are you using what is within you to help improve the life of another? Are you sitting on talents that you know that you can use for the greater good? Are you talking yourself out of making your next moves, pursuing your next goal or dream? Are you sitting on the sidelines waiting or watching life pass you by? Do you think you're too old? Do you think you're too young? Do you think you're underqualified? Do you think that the ship has sailed in your life for you to go after something that you've really desired that would really bring you a lot more joy and peace in your life? Well, my friends, those of you in the power transformation community, I'm telling you, it is not too late. You are speaking to someone who has literally risen from the dead emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally more times than I can count. You are speaking to someone where certain people in my past have spoken negatively into me, and I could have allowed that to predict my future, or I could have allowed their naysaying to sail my ship, but I chose not. You are speaking to someone where ever since she was a little girl, she had all of these big dreams and goals and fantasies and ideas that seemed so far-fetched, yet something inside of her knew that they could come to real life, and they are. You're speaking to someone who knows what it's like to literally not have hope and to not know what another day is going to bring, but yet a still small voice spoke and pushed me to keep going. That's who I am. That's who wellness and empowerment coach Alethea Felton is. That is who I am, and that is what I want to give to you as we come up very closely to the year anniversary of this podcast. I want you to use the Power Transformation Podcast to help you know that just as with the many guests that I've had and the stories that they've shared, I don't want you to think that your life is any less worthy or valuable than anyone else's. Maybe you haven't had my exact experience or even my guest's experience, but I want you to know that you are so worthy. You are so valuable, that you have the chance in your life right from where you are to make a difference in the life of someone else. That you can find hope in this life and keep that hope going, even when it seems that all else around you is failing. This isn't just to make you feel good or to give you a tingly sensation. This is from what I know to be real and true because I've applied it, where I know how your life can change for the better in an instant. I know what it's like to lose certain people and never think that your life will be the same again. And you know what? It's not quite the same, but it can be even more enhanced. I know what it's like to lose two of your best friends within a short period of time from the ravages of cancer. And you think about how they were at your bedside, or mine in that case. And when they exited this life, before they exited, rather, they gave me such a gift of speaking life into me from their deathbeds. And I know that in another realm, they and others live beyond here because their work here was completed and they passed on a torch for their legacy to be continued. I say that to you all to just give you hope and to give you thanks. Thank you for being a part of this Power Transformation Podcast community. And when this episode is released, it's not the actual anniversary date. I'm just doing a lot of end of year reflection on this episode today. And I just thank you. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for sharing this podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking a chance to actually say, you know what? I think I can get something out of this. And if you're new to this podcast, maybe this is going to be the first episode that you hear. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for listening. Who knows? Maybe this podcast, where we stand right now, it's in the top 10% of podcasts. My goal is to have it in the top 1%, the top 2.5% of all podcasts globally. It can happen. And I know in my heart that it will. But it doesn't matter when you are listening to this episode or any of them for that matter. It simply matters that you show up. Whenever you show up, whether it's the date that this is released, November 29th, 2023, or maybe it's the time that you're hearing this is somewhere in the future. The point is that you showed up for yourself. You showed up maybe out of curiosity, but I even want to leave you with a gift from me to know that you too can have your own power transformation if you simply believe, if you know that you are more than just somebody living day to day in the mundane, same old life. I am telling you from experience that, oh my goodness, no matter what's happening in this world, and we don't take lightly the hurt and the pains that we experience, the conflicts and the drama, the wars that happen throughout the lands. But what I'm telling you is that you too can have a transformation so great in your life based off of where you are now, that it can influence one person in a right and good way. And then that one can chase 5, and the 5 can chase 20, and the 20 can chase 50. And then you have a domino effect of people who believe in the power from within that God has given them to make a difference and be a light in this world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making the Power Transformation Podcast what it is. And join in next week as we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Power Transformation Podcast. Love y'all. If you enjoyed today's show, then you don't want to miss an episode. So follow the Power Transformation Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you usually listen, and remember to rate and review. I also invite you to connect with me on social media at Alethea Felton. That's at ALETHEAFELTON. Until next time, remember to be good to yourself and to others.